So last November 15th, I was out archery hunting. I was out in the trees. And I was sitting there waiting for sundown. It was kind of like the middle of rut. Rut was weird this year. And it sounded like Baghdad. It went from serene to, holy crap, there's firing going off all around me, right? And I stopped and thought about it, and I knew the next day was deer season for rifle, but it didn't really register that how many people would really try to sight their gun in or check their gun the night before rifle season, right? So I was thinking about it, and I started talking to some of the locals around here. I'm not a local, I just moved here, and they're like, yeah, I pull my gun out the night before, I shoot it, make sure it's sighted in still, and then I go hunting the next day. And my brain went, so I was like, nope, that's fucked up. Sorry, it's just straight fucked up. Last September, I had my very first paid hunt. I paid somebody to go hunting, and I went down to Texas, and I shot a fallow deer. I shot over 700 rounds practicing for that one hunt. That's me probably shooting from no more than 300 yards with one specific gun. I had a backup, and I went through all the ammunition. I'm not reloading at this time. My stuff's still in boxes back here. You can see it right back here. Because I haven't rebuilt, which I'm going to rebuild a reloading room and a gunsmithing room over here, and I haven't finished that yet. And so my stuff's not up. Anyway, that meant I'm using factory ammo. So I tested a whole bunch of factory ammo. I practiced with the gun in different positions. I made sure the ammunition choice was the best I could possibly do. I kept all of my data like this, okay? That's a lot of data. See? More data. Yes, I keep my targets. I mark them. I mark the information on them, right? So that I can go back and look at them and go, this one's okay. That one's okay. That one's not bad, right? What's that one? Federal Blue Box. It's not too bad. Let me see what we have here. Terminal Ascent. Yes, I had some problems with the Terminal Ascent. It wasn't the greatest. I was sad. Although I've had some others that were better with it, Terminal Ascent. So, hit and miss, right? Well, how can you tell if it's a hit and miss or not unless you're shooting multiple groups and you're getting multiple pieces of data? You can't. So when it came down to it, I had to do a chart, and I charted it all out, and I figured out the math. Yes, this is pretty deep. Regardless, I figured out that the Hornady American Whitetail 129 grain with the interlock bullet was giving me the best overall performance for the group size. I was getting minute of angle or less on a routine basis. My standard deviation was 11.4 for my combined standard deviation for at least 100 rounds was 11.4. That's pretty good. That's respectable, right? I have this. I have all the data. I know. Okay, so I was ready. So I went down there, 200-yard shot, pulled the trigger, killed it deader than shit. Done, right? I had no problems taking a shot at the 450 yards with that gun. So I've seen a huge trend on the YouTube channels lately where people have these shooting challenges. One is Eric Cortina, and he has this 500-yard ethical hunting challenge, which I busted his balls a little bit on there because nobody's showing up with hunting guns. They're all showing up with competition rifles, and that's cool. They still miss. They're still missing. Why? They're not practicing, and that's what this is really all about. If you're practicing with your gun for the hunting situation that you're in, for the competition situation that you're in, whatever it may be, and you're practicing and you're putting the time and energy to practice that properly, you're going to know your gear is set. You're going to know what gear needs to be changed, modified, altered, or is solid. You're going to know exactly where you're going to shooting. You're going to know exactly how to alter that adjustment to your sight to hit what you need, whether it's Kentucky windage, holdovers, or dial. Doesn't matter. You should know how to change to hit what you're shooting at least to the maximum potential distance for either the shooting location or your cartridge, right? So what's your maximum shooting distance for a cartridge? My bottom line is roughly 1,800 feet per second. I don't want to go below 1,800 feet per second. And it has nothing to do with kinetic energy. It has everything to do with capsizing the bullet and having hydrostatic shock. After 2,200 feet per second, you start losing hydrostatic shock. At about 1,800 feet per second, it's pretty much gone, right? That's the minimum for me. And in most calibers, that's somewhere in the 450 range. Some calibers, it's further. It just depends on, it depends on the caliber, of course. But ironically, there's a lot of people that don't even know where that range is. For example, so this is 123 grain SST traveling at 2,500 feet per second, which is exactly what I get out of that gun right there. My velocity goes to 1,800 feet per second at approximately 470 yards. It's a 905 for foot-pounds of energy. If you still use foot-pounds of energy, I don't. It's an irrelevant measurement unless you're doing some sort of associative analysis. It doesn't mean anything. Foot-pounds of energy is irrelevant to hydrostatic shock. It's irrelevant to capsizing the bullet. And the one item that is relevant to those is velocity. Okay, so having a bullet that you know what it needs to be doing velocity wise to work properly, then you plug that into the chart. That will tell you what you need to do. Okay, this is all stuff that you learn when you're practicing, when you're pulling your data. Okay. So I'm never taking a 470 yard shot with that gun. I had a 430 yard shot with that gun on a doe during doe season, and I passed on it. I wasn't in the right place. And I knew that because I had practiced what it took to be stable with this firearm right here. This 6.5 Grendel with 123 grain SST that is sighted in crazily tight. It's a very good, very accurate gun, okay? I also have dial turrets, so I dial my dope on this.
Yeah, I gotta figure out that 550
Boom,
shot.
dial it, send it. I can make a 420 yard shot on a deer. I still passed it because I knew that me sitting in a tree stand with a single piece of square piping as my stability was not gonna cut it at that distance. If I would have been in a ground blind and I would have had a bipod and a tripod, I'd have taken the shot, okay? But I didn't, because I practiced those shooting situations and I knew what the limitations were. So what does this all mean? I challenge everyone who hunts to go practice 6 times this year. 6 times. That's 6 times you're going to go out. You're going to take a single box of ammo, if not more. It's 20 rounds. And you're going to shoot this. You're going to make sure your gun's sighted in. You're going to make sure you know how to shoot that gun in different positions to different distances. Practice what you're actually doing hunting. Are you sitting down like this with a bipod shooting out of a ground blind and you're stable? Go practice that, okay? You should be killing boxes of ammo if you can. So like I said, 700 rounds for one hunt, one bullet. The shot was not the problem. It was finding the animal.
And at the 440, 550, okay. I was shanking it. A little bit too moving.
There's just simply too many people who are not practicing and putting the time in.
More practice.
I see it in competition. I saw it years in competition. And people would lament their C classification and their B classification, and they didn't know how to get better. And I'd be like, yo, dude, go practice. And they would just look at me like, you're dumb. And it's like, no, it's not Harry Potter magic. It's putting the time in. If you can afford it, take a class. That's even better than practicing, because now you know exactly what to practice and how to practice it. Okay? Figure out what you suck at, figure out what you are going to be doing, and practice to get better at what you suck at and get better at what you're doing. It's simple. It's really, really simple, but people get lazy, right? And then you're out there blasting away an hour before sundown, the night before you're going to go out and hunt 200 yards away from where you're blasting away at sundown. Just go practice 6 times this year. I don't care if it's competition shooting. I don't care if it's hunting. Go practice and make sure that your stuff is ready to go. When hunting season comes around, you can pick it up, boink, and you can go straight out there and you have confidence in what you're doing and you know that your rig and your equipment has been vetted and is ready to go. And you're ready to go. It's that simple. But that is my challenge this year for everyone who sees this. Minimum 6 practices.